I think it's your turn, man. I think you're our leader for today.
I'm the mediator. Okay. Month four. Um, Anything jumps out from your mind in terms of challenges, thoughts, and just general, opinion of the month that's passed?
I think something that, I think something that was really helpful was that we've kind of done since the last time we spoke was getting a third opinion, or sorry, getting like a outside perspective on how we've been going over the first 3 months of running the business. So literally sitting down with someone, having a really like open, casual conversation about like, and just doing like a basic SWOT where, we're objectively looking at the business, we're being very like forthcoming about our current position in market, how things have kind of gone over the first 3 months, stuff that we've done well, stuff that we haven't. I know we have these reflections, but I think it's super helpful to have people in the industry that you can lean on to seek advice from, but then also just zoom out with so that they can give you an objective opinion as well. And also kind of share some wisdom as to like what has helped them in kind of reaching a level of success or the level of success that they have. So I think, definitely seek outside perspective. And if you have the luxury that we did, I think sitting down for an hour or two with someone else that's grown a business on their own and, basically just looking under the hood together, it's a really impactful way of yeah, getting like a proper measure on where you're at, but also really important for providing direction moving into the future as well. Because sometimes, especially with the amount of outreach that we're doing, amount of pitch work that we're doing, you can get to a point, and now obviously client work as well, which is great. I think there's stuff that you have to do that kind of takes you away from that being able to zoom out. So having a moment with someone that can offer you really valuable perspective, I feel like that was a big win for us and has helped us now kind of prioritize what we need to do over the next 2, 3 months.
Yeah, that's a good one actually. I didn't think of that. Um, my I got two, but the first one before we go back to you would be around now that we've got a client who have been brilliant, to be fair, really supportive, understanding, have given us so much rope to kind of run with, and that's been brilliant. Equally, we've been comfortable enough to have honest conversations with them, which has been very recent. But yeah, that's the other thing for me is like, obviously, we are in a position of we need to do we need to prove our case, we need to prove our worth and prove our value. And that means, at least in the start, maybe taking a little bit more risk in the way we operate and the way we do things. But I think what's been nice for us is being able to recognize when maybe that's not sustainable, and also being able to have honest conversations, difficult conversations with clients, because they're conversations you don't want to have. And I'm sure they're conversations that they don't want to receive and have to be input into. But I think having the confidence to go to a client and say, we want to keep doing this, we want this to work, but there's a few things from our end that might need to be looked at, might need to change, and having a client that's honest enough to go, we understand, we'll see what we can do, and fortunately getting a result that works for everybody in the outcome is brilliant. But I think open, honest, transparent communication with clients is something that is a bit of a forte in the media space. Everyone says it, but I think when it comes down to the challenging ones, that's been a good thing for us this month, and something we haven't had to overcome in our first few months because we haven't had an always on client. But being able to foster such a strong and honest and open relationship so quickly has been really, really good, and the team are just so good to work with. So I'd say that would be my first cab off the rank.
That's great. And it is we couldn't have asked for a better first client, I don't think. I think they, one for clients, any clients watching, but you get as much out of your agency as you put in. So if, you're quite terse in the way that you deal with them, if you kind of, I heard someone say this in the past, and I really think it's true. If you treat agency people like second-class citizens, it's not that they're going to, out of spite, not do great work for you, because we're still professionals at the end of the day, and we understand we work in a service industry. I think more than anything, they're not willing to be as forthcoming about your business, your position in market, your agency relationship, and a lot of stuff is left unsaid, and that's usually when agency relationships go bad. We've really benefited from throughout our careers, but particularly now in kind of getting our first ongoing client via the business, from client relationships that are, predicated on a level of trust and honesty. And it's hard because, I understand as well, agency stakeholders make mistakes, client stakeholders make mistakes. And sometimes those mistakes can have really, significant ramifications. But I think an understanding of both parties having a heightened level of expertise and being able to trust those expertise, even when mistakes happen, ultimately kind of leads to a better result for everyone. So yeah, I 100% agree that, just big shout out to, our clients and their willingness to kind of work with us. And also I think failing fast is really important in a small business. So just knowing that, okay, we took a risk, it didn't pan out. The scenario that we put forward to the client off the back of that was just very realistic and honest. And I think that's why, if we knew that if they looked at this objectively, they would agree with our point of view, because we didn't try to push any further than we wanted to, or what we think we deserve. We just kind of said, look, we're not at a certain baseline and we need to get there. I think, that's a really, really good point. I think we've had a lot of really good things happen this month. And, that sometimes it's easy to believe that like that type of stuff just falls out of the sky, because sometimes it does seem very random. You might have a lead from months ago that might reach back out to you. You might have a partner that has a pitch drop at the exact time that you have the mental availability and capacity to kind of pick it up. And that might happen on multiple occasions. But I think we've been saying that it's really a culmination of, and it's very cliche, but doing the work every day. Because regardless of how busy we've been, how many clients we've had on board, prospects from like a project work perspective as well, we've always come in every day, spoken about what our intentions are for the day, ticked off as much as we can, turn over every stone every single day. And on some days, when it gets to 4:30 or whatever it may be, if we honestly look each other in the eye and go, listen, man, nothing's going to happen today. Like, let's just take a break and come back fresh the next day. Having that balance is really important as well. But yeah, just coming in every day and doing the work, it's like turning something into a habit. It's the culmination of daily steps forward, that gets you to, this situation where we have a really great, initial client relationship and potentially a few more kind of coming down the pipeline when we didn't expect them to. So, just even when it seems a little dark out, or, it doesn't seem like things are going your way, it's super important to just do what you can every day and control what's in your power every day, because you never know what that's going to lead to.
That is perfect for what I was going to say for my second one, which was a bit of a personal one, because it came up while you was on your trip. Stimulation was harder this month than it has been. I don't know if that's because you weren't around. I don't know if that's because the novelty of the difficult things like outreach and stuff was becoming a little bit more trying. And especially in the second week while you was away, it was particularly quiet because we were we done a lot in that first week you were away. We done 2 pitches, or a pitch and a response, and we were kind of waiting for things to drop. And I think second week, where it was quiet, stimulation was hard. I didn't have the 9 a.m.s with you where we planned out the day, we put heads together about approaches and stuff. But yeah, I think, like you say, reaping the benefits and the rewards of remaining consistent, even in those weeks where it's trying and it's tough, has been really, really good. And we do, you don't see it instantly, but then there are emails that come in and land, or things that the ones that recirculate after a period of time away are really satisfying, because yeah, it shows that the front of mind stuff that you try to do, the fact that you try to remain prominent without being intrusive, works. And that's the hardest bit. When you get the traction, it flows and it's easy and you just do it. But trying to generate the traction and the friction and getting the rubber to hit the road, so to speak, and then it doesn't, and then it comes back, I think that's where it's like the most, or not the most, but very, very satisfying.
For sure.
You got any more reflections, or do you want to jump into what's up for the next month?
Yeah, I think I'm happy to go into next month. What are you kind of looking forward to round out the year, being that we're, nearly just about a month out of Christmas, by the way, which is
Look, I think elephant in the room, we know December is going to be extremely quiet. We did anticipate Q4 being fairly quiet from a new business perspective, and it hasn't been, which has been amazing. So you never know, we might be wrong twice. But I think we're going into it eyes wide open with December might be a bit of a slog, and it might be tough. And back to the point I was making before around remaining stimulated and motivated, we might not see the fruits of the work that we do in December until kind of mid Q1 and early Q2 potentially, because we just know that period of time. So I think I'm going into December with, hopefully we have more work to do, depending on where things land with the current stuff, and we can get started ready for a big January. But if not, preparing for a lot of outreach, a lot of Q1, Q2 prep, trying to get front of mind for people ready for when they come back from their holidays, and just remaining, like I say, consistent with what we're doing, not losing confidence. We've already outlined when we're going to be off in terms of our personal leave, which is not a long time, which is good because you can't afford to be. But just knowing that, it's going to be, I think it's going to be a challenge. I think this might be the most challenging month we have. But, that's the way that it is. Swings and roundabouts. Hopefully it's challenging this month, and then, like you say, we see the benefits of it in January and onwards from there. But yeah, that's what I'm feeling. What about yourself? Where are you at?
Outside of new business stuff, there are the 2 major internal projects that we have coming up are, website redevelopment and outreach refreshing our approach to outreach.
Yeah.
I think it's, at first I was a bit not annoyed, but I guess you only get one chance to make a first impression, as people say. And I think, we made a miss on the website. I think our eagerness to kind of get live and get into market with some type of collateral kind of led us to that result. And even with the outreach stuff, I think, we had some early success with the way that we were kind of engaging people, particularly in the media world, and we kind of replicated that approach. Over time, we've seen decaying levels of response. And again, I feel like we should have learnt faster and adapted. But I guess the main thing to note is regardless of the mistakes that you made in the past, or you can't change anything that you've done in the past, and there's a reason that you've done it that way. I think not getting too caught up on that and thinking that oh, well, we got a 12-month license with this, site provider, so we need to stay, we need this mistake that was essentially a 3 or 4 month mistake to turn into a 12-month mistake before we can actually change it. It's no, we've identified it now. It's a really important part of our ecosystem, like our presence in market, it needs to be changed now, and you bite the bullet quick. So I think failing fast, learning fast, and always looking forward. I think you kind of have like a bit of a goldfish memory and be like, oh, like whatever that happened, we move on to the next thing and we evolve, type of thing. And that's the joy of working, I guess, in like a two-person company. Like we can make changes really quickly. We can be really agile. We've seen that like even in client work as well. We don't have to ask permission or questions of any kind of other stakeholders, and we can remain really flexible and agile. So I guess, yeah, just always knowing that we can change and evolve is a nice feeling. But yeah, just I guess overarchingly, like knowing that you can always make a change and not feeling like you're stuck, and being purposeful with the change as well. Like I really want to get those two things as right as we can be, because I know inevitably in a year we'll look back on the next iteration of the website and go, that was garbage, we need to change this now. That's fine. But I want to kind of get these two things as right as possible and take the time to do them the right way instead of rushing.
No, I wholeheartedly agree. I think, yeah, there's certain things that when we were having the meeting that you referred to at the beginning, we openly said that we'd put off as we're too busy for those bits. But we're not going to have that excuse in December. And I'm actually, especially for the website rebuild and stuff, yes, I agree. It was definitely a faux pas on us at launch. We had a lot going on that week. We just needed to get something out, and that is probably quite apparent in the quality of the site. But I do think, noting that we use these sessions a lot to refer to how bad we are at PR and kind of building a personal brand, it kind of does give us something to shout about in a particularly quiet period of the year. It allows us to get front of mind without having to do the kind of forced stuff, when obviously rebranding the website is a big deal. So I think there is benefit to it, but yeah, it's a mistake, like you say, you learn quickly from. I like that we're going to pivot very quickly from it. And yeah, I think that's going to be a really good part of December, and we can launch the new year with a bit of a cleaner house from a visual perspective and a branding perspective, which is good. I don't know, it's hard to say what the plans are without these various things that we're talking about falling. We could be very, very busy in Q4 with either going live with new clients or preparing to go live in January with new clients, or we could be waiting on decisions because everyone's away in December. So I think just being on our toes a little bit with like, yes, we've got our plan of, we need to sort the website out. We need to, expand our remit with this current client we've got and really make sure we're continuing to deliver the best level of service we are there. But again, I think you mentioned at the start, being ready to pivot. Like, we got to get our priorities right if some of these things fall, and get planning and organized so that we can cover all bases with the same level of output without having to stretch ourselves too thin. It's the good thing about being two people, man. We can do that. We can divide and conquer our resources quite easily. So it could be a massive month. It could be that quiet month we expect, but we'll make progress on whatever we're doing, nevertheless, whichever one it ends up being.
True.
But it's exciting, man. It's exciting.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. Big second half of the year. Because next time we do this, like, it's going to be what? Like Christmas.
Yeah.